We're probably going to do something a little bit different here. I'm at Windsor Junction Community Center, and this is Third Lake, and my oldest is umping a baseball game at this park here, and baseball's boring enough when he was playing, let alone when he's umping it. I'm going to use that time and try to create some imagery here on this lake. I've kind of scouted around, and I don't know what I'm going to do in terms of, there's not a whole lot here. I was hoping there's going to be some ducks or something like that. There's plenty of drop-ins on this beach, but I saw the grass here, and there's an island in the middle there, but there's houses on the back side of it, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Either just some black and white abstracts, long exposure. I might even try some multiple exposure, which is something I don't do very often, but I might give that a go here. I think it might look really cool here, and it might be able to make that island look interesting. But that's the game plan. We're going to start with this grass. So I'm going to switch to doing some multiple exposures, and if my super old Nikon D750 can do it, I would imagine most new cameras can. Mine can only do 3, but I'll switch into that and see how that turns out. They might just look like blurry photos, I don't know. So I'm not gonna lie, those multiple exposures of the grass kind of look like just blurry photos, or at least they do on the back of on the camera. So I dug out the telephoto, and we'll see what we can do with this. So the telephoto is doing a much nicer job, I think, but right now I'm super low. I just have it on the ground here and just trying to make kind of like I do with my duck photos, just super low to the ground and then boom, pinpoint and focus. Everything else is blurred out. That's really neat. Those turned out really nice. Well, this has proven to be pretty photogenic, I believe. Like, these are probably going to be the nicest images I have so far. And I think I'm going to try the multiple exposure mode and do the same thing. And I'll take two approaches, kind of, they're moving anyway in the water. So boom, boom, boom. And then I'll try some where I'm also slightly moving the camera between each photo. So I think that was neat too. I think the telephoto certainly does a better job isolating, make it smaller, turn that mess into something neater, and then you can have finer tune in terms of your subject. But I think I'm gonna quickly head up to the game and get a photo of the kid, and hopefully he's the behind the plate ump, and you can go, "You're out of there." The other one just stands there. So it turns out his game is 2 games back to back, so I'm not sticking around for that whole thing. So on the way home, came across these reeds of some sort. They're super duper tall, and kind of going to use that same concept with the telephoto. So I'm going to try some multiple exposures and then just some normal shots. I think will look pretty neat. Well, hopefully one of those will turn out. It's kind of like ICM stuff where it's kind of figure it out as you go, and it may or may not work, and you gotta try different things. So when I got home and started going through the photos on the computer, I was pleasantly surprised by how some of the multiple exposures turned out. One of the drawbacks is that the camera saves them as JPEGs even when shooting in RAW. Again, that's with my Nikon D750, so unsure if that's true with newer bodies. That limits some of the flexibility when it comes to editing a final image. Still, I think it's a technique worth exploring further. It has a way of transforming otherwise ordinary subjects into something more artistic and abstract. Of the images I created, I chose one from each approach I used as my favorites, and they'll be making their way into my 2027 calendars as a special insert mini print.